Hi, Mr. Luca. How you doing? My name's Detective Payne. You can just call me Jeff. You want to have a seat? Sorry for the ominous setup, but this is at least we're in some air conditioning at least. So, all right. So first, yeah, they put us kind of over here in the corner, didn't they? So
I don't know the portable numbers.
there's a handful of us. That's why we're out here. We're not in the office. But what's a good address for you? Okay, cool. How do you?
She's at my first period class, so she's supposed to be my first period class.
Okay. What do you teach?
I teach.
Okay. How well do you know her?
I thought pretty well. She has been in my class all year round. She's always very sweet, and she struggles a bit. I mean, all my kids are intensive kids, so they're the students who are struggling. She was on my door decorating team.
So I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but she's been in your class since fall?
Since the beginning of the year,
fall
yes.
of 23, and then, okay, okay.
She was on my door decorating team. She was actually chosen to be my student of the week from 2 weeks ago for helping us win our door decorating competition with her friends.
Okay.
And she came before school and after school a couple times for that event, which was 1 week.
Okay. So she got student of the week.
Yes.
With the door
Her
decorating.
certificate's on my desk to give her.
Okay. Did they win door decorating?
Yeah.
Okay. You said that she came early?
Yes, her and her came with a few other students to help with the door decorating the week of Literacy Week, which
okay.
Check if you need exact dates. I think it was January.
Do you have a picture of the door?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you text that to me? And I will text you right now, so you'll have my number.
And our door was all about spreading kindness and love, and they put in a lot of thought and effort into it. With it, so I'll send you the picture.
Oh, perfect.
Of her in it.
Yes, perfect, perfect. How well do you think you know her? You said you thought you knew her pretty well. Did you guys have like one-on-ones? Like
not really any one-on-ones.
Okay.
Like I didn't even know. Like I didn't.
Okay.
Like I thought I knew her. Like I know my other students, but we've never really had a lot of personal talks.
Okay.
Really, her showing up for door decorating was probably the most that I've had like private conversations with her. But it was with her other friends there.
Oh, that's okay.
Not the most tech savvy. I've been talking with the other teachers. I know she's very good friends with. Don't know.
Okay.
I'm speaking of. Who She's also good friends with, I believe. Okay. I think that is sending to you now. The picture right next to her. And they both won Student of the Week for door decorating.
Okay, let me see, make sure I get this. Yep. Okay, so green sweater is behind. Who are these two kids on the left?
They are both. So she is in the same in that period.
Okay, and what is her name? I'm sorry. Did you ever, you said you never really had like one-on-one conversations with her?
For door decorating, we would chat about certain things.
So I know she didn't confide in you or anything?
Not anything like what we learned about last night, nothing like that.
Okay. What did they tell you last night?
About the maybe sexual assault, I don't know. I just know that there was maybe some kind of stuff on his cell phone.
Okay, who told you that?
I saw it online, the police, the sheriff.
You saw it online?
Report,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sheriff report.
Okay.
As far as I know. The only thing that I can say related to that is I know that she had been reading a book a couple months ago, and it had kissing in it, and it was a graphic novel, and she was like scandalized that there was a kissing scene. So I hope and pray that nothing had been happening sexually. I don't know, but she had been acting like, oh my gosh, kissing, like that it was like a shocking thing to like see a picture of two people kissing. They had been talking during, again, I'm not part of this conversation,
Yeah.
they were talking about how they had heard Lady Gaga's, oh my God, Want to Take a Ride on My Disco Stick, and they're, Miss DeLuca, did you know what that song was about? So they've had, but they were all acting very, scandalized, shocked by it. So I'm hoping and praying that she has not had that, but I don't. But that's most of my students. They're 12. They're just learning about that kind of thing. They're going through sex ed and science class right now. Can I ask, was there evidence of that?
The investigation's still ongoing, so unfortunately I can't really go into too many details. So she never made any disclosures to you about, like you said, sexual abuse, being abused in any other way at home, nothing like that?
No, I didn't even know that. I'd never heard her mention. I don't think I've ever. I'm trying to think if she came to open house, but I don't think so.
So you have not met anybody in Angela's?
I believe so.
Okay. Have you seen any signs of depression or suicide?
No.
Suicidal ideation, anything like that? Okay.
I was shocked when the kids were telling me about the live in the woods conversation. I was, no, guys, that's. It was on her phone, but I was shocked to hear something like that. She was very excited about her birthday.
Okay. How are her grades in your class?
Low.
Okay.
She's had a D pretty much every quarter. Kind of like when we are working in class, she's able to, and then she does get extended time. It's the follow through and getting things done that she didn't really do very often.
Okay. Have you seen any real shifts in her behavior?
No.
Okay.
If anything, I would say that it was almost better since like door decorating. Like I felt like she was trying a little bit harder in class.
Okay. And I'm sorry, when was the door decorating competition?
I think that's what I was going to have to find out where that picture was from. I'm sorry. So that picture was, when it was finished, was January 26th. So that was a Friday. So that full week was when we did door decorating.
Okay.
January 22nd through the 26th.
22nd and 26th.
And there was a few days before school and a few days after school that they came and decorated. I no longer have the log of what days they came.
Okay.
I just, once I had her name on the list.
I'll just mark it as the end of January.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you think I need to know about anybody she talked to? Anybody? Do you feel like anybody she might have confided in?
Friends, and then when I'm talking to other teachers, they go, "Oh no, the other so on." They are like, "Oh, we don't see us as much." But I would have said that together. All in my first period together. Okay. So they're all together, and I kind of just associate the three of them together.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else?
I think so. I've been crying since Monday, since they called me and tried to ask if she was in my first grade class that day. I just wish we had more information.
Okay. I certainly appreciate taking time to talk to me. Okay. Can you swear and affirm everything you told me?
Today's date is February 29, 2024. The time is 15:20 hours. It's reference to Orange County case number 24-011313. I'm Detective Bradshaw with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Sir, can you state your first name for me, please?
My name is Italo.
Okay, so I just had a couple of questions for you in reference to assume that she was one of your students. Would that be correct?
She was, yes.
Okay, what period did you have her in?
I had her initially in 6th period for the start of the year. And
Okay.
then she requested to be moved to 3rd period because she was having some issues of like not being able to keep up, or rather, she was keeping up, but it was too many behavioral issues around her. So she was
Okay.
getting tired. She requested to move to 3rd.
So not behavioral issues like specifically with her, but with other kids that were in
kids,
your
yeah.
class that she didn't like.
Correct, yeah.
I got it. Okay. Did she ever talk to you about her home life, anything that was going on with her? Anything like that?
No.
She never said anything to you? Did at any point, did she ever disclose any sort of physical or sexual or mental abuse to you?
No.
Okay. Did she mention anything to you about having any suicidal ideations, ever making any attempts at suicide?
No.
Okay. Did she ever express to you at any time if she had any mental or medical diagnosis?
No.
Okay. Did she discuss taking any medications with you for anything?
No, the only time I've ever seen her take anything was Tylenol.
Okay.
In the front office, Miss Schilling could confirm with that too, because we both kind of saw her because we were trying to figure out how to make sure that she was okay to take those.
Okay.
In here, so.
Did you notice any sort of like recent changes in her behavior from the start of the school year until now?
Not really, no. She just seemed happier within the 3rd period class that we were in,
Okay.
which is the advanced treble course I have. She seemed happier there. She learned her music really quickly, as with the rest of the girls in that class. She usually is very participatory. She's usually up performing with us. She doesn't miss a concert. She doesn't miss anything. The only thing I guess I could note is like on Friday she was sitting, but that a lot of the girls sit at random times, and that's related to either they have cramps or whatever. So I didn't think that was odd, but she usually is up and participating and active.
She didn't tell you that anything was wrong on Friday?
No.
Okay, she didn't mention to you that anything had been going on or that she was feeling sad or down or anything like that? Okay. And you haven't, in your opinion, you haven't seen her have any sort of signs that she's been depressed since the beginning of the school year at all,
Not that I
or
would
any
notice.
suicidal?
Like she's just seemed pretty normal and very, very happy, easy making her friends. I would say she bloomed a lot more in 3rd because she had her friends there. So
Okay.
she was more outspoken and more confident. She's very helpful in my class. She even organized my piano once because it was all papers on top of it. She put it all together. She wanted to do that. So, that's not noticed anything off about her.
Okay. Now, I don't know how you do your grades or anything like that in your class. Has she declined at all in her participation, like in her grades, anything of that nature that you've
No,
noticed?
She maintains pretty steady, and I just grade her participation if you're standing and performing and the concerts. So I've not noticed anything of decline. She is there. That the only time, and even on Friday when she was sitting, I think she was still singing with us. She was
Okay.
just sitting down, which was the only thing,
That was different.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. How about her? You've never overheard her talking to her friends about anything like that at all?
When I send a message and talking points or whatever, she reads them. I've gotten before me on Monday evening. Wasn't home yet.
Okay.
She was like, "Hey, it's school today," so she, so she knows, she can reach out to me and it's open to do so and anything because it's, she's always involved. So
Okay. So since the beginning of the school year, more so happy now that she's in your 3rd period, able to make friends. She's pretty consistent. So nothing out of the ordinary that you can think of off the top of your head that
nothing
would
comes
be
to mind right now
alarming
that's,
or.
like, alarming. The only most alarming thing I've seen was the message that Monday when she was missing. So
Okay. And what was that message?
it was. I can read it to you. Exactly.
Okay.
Talking points. So this was through the app Talking Points. Talking Points is what the district and the county uses to communicate between teachers.
Okay.
It's faster than emails, just texting. So it's loading. So on Monday, February 26th at 5:36 p.m. She said, "Hi, make it to school today. She hasn't made it home today." Then at 5:53, when I was able to reply back, I said, "Hi, Miss Soto. I don't know. Checking Skyber, she was absent for periods 1 to 5 and period 7. Period 6, I guess, hadn't marked her, but that's not really so strange because sometimes teachers just forget. Like
right.
that happens. So, but yeah, I told her, that's very alarming. Just, please keep me informed. And I reported it to my teacher mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then she reported it to Kelly Armstrong and everyone else in the school. And I guess and she'd been waiting for the police for a while. So
okay.
I kind of talked a little bit then. I asked at 6:20 she was home yet. Hasn't made it home yet. Waiting for the police. And then so I heard the cop trying to speed things up, but that was it. So then I haven't reached out back because I had trying to give her space. So
okay. Is there anything else you can think of that I haven't asked you that you can recall right now, or anything else you want to tell me?
Nothing comes to mind. I think her behavior is pretty consistent in class. She's. Whenever I see her out of class or whatever, I would say hi. She replies back normally. So.
And she seems like a pretty happy.
Yeah, she just seems pretty happy. It was just, and that's what part of it why it was so shocking that she'd be gone is just how close it happened, how she just, whenever people started saying maybe she ran away, it just didn't seem like it to me that she could be the type to run away.
Okay.
But then, of course, information started coming out about what was happening, so.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. So the time is now 15:26 hours.
It is February 29th, 2024. The time is 13:18 hours. This is Detective Hunt for OCSO case 24-0-11313. Can you state your full name?
Elizabeth Ella.
Okay. And you were teaching this whole year?
Yes.
And you've been employed here this whole year?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with a 7th grade student that goes here by the name of?
My students.
And you teach her? What period do you have her?
She was in my 3rd period, and then in January she was moved to my 6th period.
Okay. And are you familiar with why I'm out here to talk to you at all?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to see if maybe you had an idea. Well, I just have a very specific few questions regarding. Can you maybe tell me, I guess, tell me a little bit about her, what she like?
She's very quiet, reserved. She looks sad quite often.
Okay.
She has even if they on your assignment, to redirect her within a very short amount of time, she's lost focus again. She'll have her head down. She's often in the clinic, whether she was in my 3rd period or currently in my 6th period. She's oftentimes in the clinic.
Okay. And what's that for, usually?
Either she's not feeling well or she has anxiety.
Okay. When you say she's not feeling well, what does that mean? Did she tell you ever?
She's like, I'm not feeling good, can I go to the nurse?
Did she ever describe it at all? Like, my stomach's hurting, my head's hurting, I'm feeling sad, anxious?
I just know that she has anxiety.
Okay.
So I just allow her to go to the nurse and see the nurse.
And is that common in other periods too that you know of? I don't know if y'all ever talk about it.
I don't know about the other periods, but it stayed about the same as far as 3rd period versus 6th period.
Okay. Is she ever absent from school?
She is. Without looking at my attendance sheets, I can't tell you how frequent it is.
Would you describe her just off the top of your head as frequently absent, or is it just not frequent enough for you to notice and call it something?
Because she's in the clinic so much and she goes home, she's missing my class a lot.
Got it.
So whether she's gone home or she's still in the clinic, she does miss my class a lot.
Okay. So you said normally she's very quiet and reserved. How long have you known her for?
For the school year.
This is the first year you've taught her here?
Yes.
Is she a new student here?
I am unsure.
Okay, that's fair. Have you noticed any recent changes in her behavior?
I have.
Okay, how so?
On January 22nd, with her being moved, and the only only reason why I know this is because I was looking at my talking points. And on January 22nd, I met through talking points and said that, explained to her that she had been moved to my 6th period and that I'm noticing she's more tired, more like withdrawn in my 6th period class. Like she's lost more focus than usual. And I just forgot. You're just seeing her in her natural state. I forgot to give her medicine.
So she got moved into your 6th period class?
Correct.
Where was she moved from?
So she was in so there was a problem with chorus.
Oh, okay.
And so the only other period that particular chorus that she was in was 3rd period, so they swapped 3rd and 6th. So she's now in chorus 3rd period and me 6th period, and it was different.
So she was just moved for timing reasons, for scheduling reasons.
Right.
Gotcha, but there was nothing happening in chorus.
I just know that there was an issue with something happening in chorus with students.
Gotcha. So there's some sort of issue in chorus.
Correct.
So they switched her around so she'd be in your 6th period.
Correct.
Got it. And I guess there's different students in that other period of chorus.
Correct.
Gotcha. Sorry, gotta make sure I write.
You're fine.
And so you noticed that her behavior was a lot different from 3rd to 6th period. So she was more withdrawn, more tired. That's just how she more often is. Like that's her natural kind of.
So that particular day when I messaged her, she's like, that's something to the effect of, that's her, you're seeing her in her natural state. I forgot to give her ADHD meds or something like that.
Gotcha. That particular day.
Yeah. But it didn't seem to improve.
But that's just how she was.
Yeah.
Okay. What about her grades? How have they been?
So all year they've been DF.
Okay.
And in the past, like she wouldn't do all of her assignments, but like every couple of assignments she would do one. But lately, since moving into my 6th period, she hasn't. There might be 1 or 2 assignments that she completed since moving into my 6th period till now.
Okay. Have you talked to her about it, or?
I do. I meet with her weekly. Like, hey, how's your assignments going? She's like, I'm working on them.
Okay.
But that's like the extent of it.
She just says she's working on it. And in your weekly meetings, I mean, has she ever talked about life at home and mentioned being sad or depressed or... Okay.
No.
Has she ever shown any signs of being depressed?
I mean, with her just... It's hard. It's hard to tell because she was always having anxiety. She was always like putting her head down like she wasn't feeling well. So,
gotcha. Has she ever? I guess has she ever expressed anything? I know that you would have reported it, obviously, but has she ever expressed anything about wanting to hurt someone else or hurt herself?
No.
So, as far as like her state of mind or her mental state in your class, as far as you know, she's just very quiet, but
Correct.
You wouldn't necessarily describe that as like sad or depressed, just withdrawn.
Correct.
That's what it sounds like. I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Like having a hard time focusing.
Yeah, but she also has ADHD, right? So
She does. She also has an IEP.
Oh, okay. So do you think maybe with
So I always thought that it was part like because she struggles with learning.
Mhm.
So I always thought, kids that struggle with learning also are a little bit withdrawn and have a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
So
it's common of kids who struggle, and that might be because they're just not understanding what's and okay.
Correct.
So it doesn't sound like her grades have necessarily declined, but they were never
It's been worse
above
this
B's or
quarter
F's.
since being moved in January to my sixth
Gotcha.
period.
Okay. Has there, and you've only known her for this school year, so it's only been, what, 6-7 months?
Yeah.
I guess, has there been any, aside from being moved to your sixth period, has there been any other notable shift in behavior that in your experience might indicate something's happening at home, or in your experience that there's something more going on? Okay. So nothing has kind of raised any red flags with you that there might be something happening?
The only difference is from when she was moved to my sixth, I did notice that the behavior changed, and that's why I
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Any other interaction or involvement with you specifically, or any other conversations?
We've had other conversations about her not passing my class, and hey, she's missing these assignments.
And what's her, what'd she say to that?
Sometimes she'll respond, and sometimes, okay, I'll work with her on it, but...
Okay. It sounds like that's kind of I'm working on it kind of thing, but nothing really definitive.
Correct.
Okay. Has she ever disclosed that anything being abused at home in any way, physically, sexually, verbally?
No.
She's never disclosed or shown any signs of that you've been a teacher for 10 years, so I trust that you can see that kind of stuff, or you have your own way of identifying that. But
I've been a teacher for 13.
Oh, so yeah. Even more so.
So no, I haven't noticed that.
Gotcha. So nothing that's raised that red flag to you thus far. And there's also, if I'm understanding you right, nothing that's raised a red flag that she's necessarily sad or depressed, but it seems more like she's withdrawn because of her, possibly because she has trouble learning.
That is how I process it.
Well, that's what it appears like to you, right? It would look different otherwise, I guess. Okay. Well, obviously we're out here talking to you because we're all working very hard and very concerned, and we're all just looking for some things that might help us. Is there anything, as someone who's known her for several more months than I have, that might help me or help any of us get in her head a little bit and maybe figure something out?
Fortunately, I wish I did. But
that's fine. That's completely fine. I just, always looking for something. But do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I can? Okay.
No.
Cool. Well, thank you for talking to me. Can I just have you do one more thing? Raise your right hand. Do you swear that everything you told me is truth?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to end this. 13:30 hours.
What's your first name?
Nick. Or Nicholas. I don't know if it needs to be official or not.
All right. Nicholas. Last name?
Phone's the best way to reach me, though.
Okay. Yeah, I just try to list everything in here in case we need it. So, so how do you know?
She is in my 7th grade. Or 7th grade, 7th period. End of the day.
Been there since fall?
Yes, since the beginning of the year.
How would you say your relationship is with her?
Oh, great. I think she likes me as a teacher, and she's a very good, well-behaved student. On the quieter side, she sometimes does her work. I guess, she has we call them sleepy days.
Okay.
Where, she'll come in, just want to do nothing but put her head down and kind of ignore most things, but then, she'll end up doing her work later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a lot of kids do that?
Not really.
Okay.
No. A lot of them will put their head down, but she'll do it a lot more often than the other ones.
Okay. Just bear with me. Let's take
Oh,
notes
no,
while
of
we
course.
talk.
No, that's great.
Would you say your relationship is close with her?
As far as teacher-student goes, I would say fairly average. I don't know much about her personal life or anything like that, but I keep, academic tabs on her mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. But the typical, hey, how's your weekend? Did you have fun? I knew she had a birthday party this, past weekend, stuff like that, but basic information for the most part.
So just typical conversations?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys ever have like one-on-one conversations? Was it always like in a group and passing, things like that?
If we ever had one-on-one conversations, it was just about grades and maybe that she wasn't, like, she needed to pull up something or turn in an assignment, but that would not have been more than once, maybe twice.
Okay, so she never confided anything in you? You guys never talked about home life, anything like that?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
No. I was a substitute teacher for my class, but I never actually saw her in person.
Okay. When was the sub?
Oh, wow. Oh, when I got married. October 21st, I think, was when she was my sub.
Okay.
Might have been a week before that.
October 23?
Yeah, October 2023, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Have you seen any recent changes in her behavior?
Recent? No. No.
How about changes overall in her behavior?
Actually, yeah, I don't know why it says recent, but not really.
Okay.
She had less sleepy days, I guess, would actually be a thing.
Okay.
It was more so in the beginning of the year. But other than that, no changes.
Has she had any signs of depression or suicidal ideations, inclinations?
Nothing with suicide. I know that, like, fatigue and stuff like that can be a sign of depression, but without anything being confided in me, I never assumed or anything like that. I just assumed she never got any sleep.
Okay. What's her grades like?
They were a little bit rough, and then she brought them up.
Okay.
She'll go through phases of not turning anything in, turning everything in, not turning it in, turning it all in. I would still say probably in the BC range, but I'm not 100% sure right now. I have to pull it up.
No big shifts in behavior, nothing like that?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Even on that Friday, she said, okay, I'll see you Monday.
Do you know which Friday that was?
The Friday before her birthday party, and she disappeared.
Okay. When was that? Was that the 16th? 23rd.
The 23rd, I believe, is when, because we had Jerry Craft the day before, basketball game.
Okay.
Yeah, so as we were leaving 7th period, I always say, like, oh, I'll see you guys Monday, and I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of see you Monday too, but can't be 100% sure.
Okay. Anything else you think I need to know? About talk to friends, anything she
unfortunately
said, anything?
Unfortunately, I don't think I have any more information that you guys have, because a student did come up to me and tell me that she was talking with friends about wanting to live in the woods, like after she turned 13, but I think you guys already have all that.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, she just seemed like a very, like, normal, like, on the quiet and tired side, but like a very normal kid, you know?
Okay.
Wouldn't have thought anything would be up with her. She had the birthday party coming up, so we assumed that she would actually be in really good, spirits and stuff like that, too.
Okay. Anything else?
I wish I had more.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, Nick.
Of course, anytime.
Can you swear to affirm everything you told me to be true and correct?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Have a good one.
Today's date is February 29th, 2024. The time is 13:02 hours. It's going to be reference to Orange County case number 24-011313. I'm Detective Bradshaw with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Ma'am, could you state your first and last name for me, please?
Madison Brady.
Could you spell Madison for me?
Madison.
And then Brady, Brady?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your birthday? And my understanding is you are... We're here today to kind of talk about the situation that's involved. I have a couple of specific questions that I have to ask you. But can you tell me a little bit about, like, what you know, your relationship with her is, just any information that you could give me on that?
So I met her at the beginning of this school year in an ESE meeting. She was being transferred over from 504, that she was under that in 6th grade with our 6th grade counselor, Miss Merritt.
Okay.
Transferring over at the beginning of this year to the ESE services with our ESE staffing specialist, Miss McGregor. So I was sitting in on that meeting. In that meeting, they approved that switch and she got switched over. I heard a little bit about her background in terms of having ADHD, a lot of problems with focus that affects her schoolwork and grades, and then some mental health concerns in terms of a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. So from there, I have been doing ongoing check-ins with her throughout the school year thus far. I think we've met about, I was looking at it earlier, 6 times.
Okay, since the beginning of the school year?
Correct.
Got it, okay.
When she has come to me, it's often been those feelings of panic. She's come to me like in the middle of class or during lunchtime just feeling really panicked, kind of heavy breathing, feeling really overwhelmed. And when we've had our conversations about, well, what's going on, what's making you feel this way, I've gotten responses saying, well, it's my anxiety, sometimes I don't know, I'm just really overstimulated with all the noise in the cafeteria. But I've also gotten responses with, well, things at home with her. And when I pressed about that, it seemed to be things along the lines of, well, she gets upset that I'm forgetful or that I don't clean my room the way she wants me to. And we talked about what that does to affect her. And she says, yelling, that makes me get overstimulated and then I can't respond to her in a way that she wants me to. So we discussed strategies for kind of calming herself down and talk. She's calm about how that makes her feel, and she reported to me that she did have that conversation for our past check-in since December. So December, January, February, we had a check-in every single month, and each of those check-ins she had said to me, things are better at home and things are a little bit better at school, and I haven't had her come to me in months with any sort of panic or anxiety. I did have her mention on occasion her home situation. At that time was when I asked her about that. The only thing she really said was, I don't really like him. He's kind of weird. So I said, okay, well, what does that mean? How is he weird? Why don't you like him? And her responses were nothing of that level of concern. It was always, well, he eats all of our food and he hangs out in the living room and it makes me uncomfortable because I don't really like him, so I don't want him to be there. But nothing ever to the level of concern that we're seeing now. And the last thing I heard about him was he's moving out. I'm happy about that, and that's helping me feel better with home.
When was that conversation that he was moving out?
That was about a couple of months ago, so I would say around December.
Okay, so sometime in December, you guys had a meeting and she said, okay, got it. Did she ever mention anything to you about having depression or like suicidal thoughts or any suicidal attempts or anything like that?
She never mentioned anything along those lines. It was always more so focused on the anxiety and the panic.
Okay.
And a lot of times she wasn't able to verbally articulate what exactly was making that panic arise beyond feeling overstimulated or just not knowing.
Okay, so she never mentioned to you about wanting to hurt herself, wanting to die, wanting to, nothing like that?
She never mentioned wanting to harm herself or wanting to die. She made comments in the interactions where she was feeling panicky, saying things more so like, you know, this hurts and I don't like this or want to deal with this, but it was never anything like I want to hurt myself or end my life or anything along those lines.
Gotcha, okay. And she didn't disclose that she was taking medication for anything other than just the anxiety or for the ADHD and the anxiety?
I didn't talk to her specifically about medication, and I can't recall what was said. It would be in the ESE meeting notes if it was discussed that she was or wasn't on medication.
And she has an IEP, you said, correct?
Correct.
So she switched from the 504 to the IEP?
Yes.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, did she mention anything about just didn't like him because he ate their food and he was in their living room? Like, did she say anything else to you, disclose anything to you?
She did not. She didn't talk about asked her about those comments of him being weird and uncomfortable, the only things she gave me were, well, I don't know, he's just a little weird. He eats our food and he's always hanging out in the living room and I don't really want to be around him, and nothing. And the way she said it was so like joking in terms of like, I don't know, he's weird type situation, like laughing about it. It never made me feel like there was a safety concern.
Okay, so she didn't disclose anything about him ever touching her inappropriately, or them having any sort of a sexual relationship, or them having any sort of an inappropriate relationship whatsoever. None of that was ever disclosed or
anything along
brought
those
up to you.
lines.
Okay. Let me check and see. There's, like I said, there's some other questions that I have to ask, and I just want to make sure that I touched on them. Okay, did you ever see, I know we talked about like the anxiety and the panic attacks, and you said she never, mentioned anything about being depressed or being suicidal or anything. Did you ever see her exhibit any of those behaviors, like that she is depressed, or that she, like, did you notice anything about her that was out of the ordinary other than the things we've already talked about?
It seemed more so to be very up and down.
Okay.
Like she would have those heightened moments of the panic and the crying, and just kind of, she would go from that to just like shutting down after the panic. And then if you talked her through it a little bit, like there's one specific instance in my statement that she could not say what was making her feel that way. And so I asked her to draw it out, and she was able to do that.
Okay.
And then she kind of put on there just like a lot of scribbles, which to her, she said that meant just like the chaos of all the feelings and thoughts that she's having that make her feel overwhelmed. And then words she wrote. So things along the lines of like, why, or crying and things like that. And after that happened, I reached out that she wasn't at school for a couple days, so I was like concerned of, okay, we went from this to now being out, what is happening? I reached out, and at that point he's been struggling lately, a lot of tears and feelings, but that she was seeing a weekly therapist.
Okay.
So she supposedly had someone that she was seeing weekly about all of this.
Okay.
And also stated at that point she hadn't been at school because she was sick, and she was going to take her to the doctor that day. And she mentioned seeing the drawing that from our conversation, and I encouraged her to share that with mom, so she did. And she said that she appreciated that, and that helped her in that day, which at the end of that conversation with her, she was able to calm down and feel better. But at that point, that's when it got a little concerning, to the point that I reached out to mom just to say, hey, what's going on? And found out, okay, she at least has supposedly weekly therapy sessions outside of school.
And most of these things you said that would trigger these panic attacks or these anxiety-inducing issues were because of issues that were going on with them, correct? Like where she would argue with.
It seemed to be a combination of bringing that from home, the arguments and the feeling like she's taking on those feelings at home of, I don't feel safe in terms of not necessarily physically safe, but emotionally safe, that at me and causing me to feel overstimulated. And then I come to school and it's loud and there's lots of kids and I'm overstimulated again.
But it wasn't usually.
And things she said along the lines of, my room's not clean, or you forget to do this, or you don't do that. So to me, that's like things about it was never,
especially at that age, with the teenage age, Okay, so how about her grades or her behavior? Have you noticed any shift in her grades or the behavior that she would normally exhibit?
Grades have seemed stable. We've been working on, in our check-ins, kind of coming up with strategies because of her ADHD and in terms of getting her missing work in to bring up the grades. And she seemed to be making improvements with that since around December, when she started reporting things are better at home, at school. Our last check-in was February 6th, I believe, and at that point, she was very happy that day. I called her down just to do our check-in, and she said things are going really well. She feels really happy. Things are better at school. And that was the last time we had a check-in.
And that was because of the strategies that you had kind of given her to help her.
Yes,
with.
she had been getting some of that work in. Her teachers are working with her because she has the IEP, and she said that she used the strategies at home to talk about the when we're calm, let's talk about what it's like when we're not calm and how that makes us feel.
Gotcha.
And she said she was able to successfully do that.
Good. That's excellent. Okay. I know we talked a lot about, like, you know, kind of just briefly mentioned with her. And I know you've only known her for a short period of time, but you haven't noticed a dramatic shift from when you first met her to now that's negative. Like, have you?
Correct. When this first came up, my first thoughts are, oh, things have been better. So
Okay.
I'm like,
So it's surprising to you, it sounds like.
How did
we get to this point?
Yes.
Okay, so there's nothing that would stand out to you that would make you think that something was on, like that things were declining at home. You actually thought things were actually getting better at home based on what she was telling you.
From the information that I had from her,
Okay.
without at that point having spoken to friends or anything I had, to me the perception was things are getting better.
And what was the last date that you met with her?
February 6th.
And that was the date that she was like, hey, things are getting better. We're using these strategies at home and all of that. Got it. Okay.
We were supposed to have our next session to follow up this week, and obviously I haven't been able to do that.
Okay. Is there anything else you can think of that I have not asked you that you want to relate to me while I have you in here?
To me, the only things that are just sticking are the comments of he is weird and I don't like him. And I wish I had more information to say where that came from, but when I asked that, all I got was he eats our food, he hangs out in the common areas.
Okay. All right. Do you swear and affirm everything you told me is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the time is now 13:15 hours.
Hi, I'm Detective Payne.
Nice
Call
to
me
meet you.
Jeff. We'll talk to this portable here. I'll just need to get a little bit of information from you once we get in here. Got a few questions, and then you should be able to get back to class, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's get a chair at least. In here, but not as bad as outside. Spell your first name for me.
ANNELISE.
98. Put 88. Sorry, I'm projecting my own age here. And what's a good address for you? It is February 29th, 2024, about 1:12 p.m.
I am.
Okay. Just bear with me. I'm going to take some notes while we talk. Alright. Do you, how well do you think?
I think I know her pretty well.
Okay.
I mean, we've had some interactions. There's a lot of kids in.
Okay.
You know, I have seen some interactions with her.
Okay. Who does she hang out with the most in class?
She hangs out with a student. Her name is.
Okay.
And another girl in my class. I believe was her name. And.
Any idea how to spell that last name?
I want to say.
Sounds about right. Okay, so she.
Teachers' classes in there, and
is in the class but has another. Okay. Any problems with girls in the class?
Nope, I've never really had issues. I've always very anxious type of student.
Okay.
So anytime she needed to ask me something or she felt like something was wrong, she always wanted to bring her friends with her. She always needed like a buddy system with her to kind of huddle in, and they would be like asking the question for her.
Okay. So was she shy or was she?
I don't know if maybe like shy around authority figures.
Okay.
Because I see her like with her friends, and she's not. You know, they're playing volleyball and laughing and talking.
Okay, that makes sense. Have you ever talked to any of the other teachers at the school about? Have you heard anything else about her?
Nope.
Okay.
I know she did get Student of the Week a few weeks ago.
Okay.
The week of February 16th. I think Miss DeLuca. I saw a little report. She put her on there. Nominated her.
Any idea what she was nominated for?
I don't remember what it said. Excellent or something like that. She did something in her class.
Okay.
And Miss DeLuca nominated her.
Have you ever had like a one-on-one conversation? Did she confide in you? Do you feel like you guys were that close? Or?
There were some times like we do some testing in the beginning of the year, like fitness testing.
Okay.
And she was running and she was telling me I can't do it, and I was like, that's okay. Like, do you need to get your inhaler? And she was like, yes. So I walked her to the locker room.
Okay.
We got her inhaler, and then I just told her like it's okay to sit out. Like, you don't have to, run crazy.
Yeah.
So we've had that like one-on-one, and then times where she felt like she needed to go to the counselor.
Okay.
She was upset about something or anxious. She would ask me. That's when her friends would kind of huddle in with her.
Okay.
And she would say, like, she needs to go to the counselor. Like, to go to the counselor. And then I would write her a pass, send her to Miss. And then the girls would ask if they could go with her.
Okay.
And kind of drop her off and then come back.
Any idea why she needed to go to counseling?
There was times that she said that she was feeling anxious.
Okay.
And she just said, like, I feel like I need to talk to a counselor. So I just normally, when kids are saying that and they recognize they need to talk to a counselor, I let them.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know if maybe it went further than that or not. But, okay. Have you seen any recent changes in her behavior?
Not really.
Okay.
She always just hangs around those girls, and like it's crazy that the description of what she was wearing, because she wears that all the time, like her green hoodie or her black biker shorts and the Crocs. Like as soon as they said that, I was like, oh yeah, like that's something that she wears like all the time, kind of. But
no changes in behavior though. Okay. Any signs of depression or suicidal inclinations? How is her grade in your class? Probably a little atypical, right?
she doesn't dress out.
Okay.
So she had a locker.
Why doesn't she dress out?
I'm unsure. I don't know. She did have a locker assigned to her at the beginning of the year. I checked it just recently. Asked me to check it.
Okay.
And there was nothing on there, and there was nothing in the locker.
Okay.
A lot of kids don't like dressing out. They don't like changing in front of kids, or they feel uncomfortable. But we always give them options. There's like little showers in the back and go to the bathroom, but
Okay. So if she doesn't dress out, does she still participate, or does she do
yeah,
something
they're
different?
allowed to still participate.
Okay,
we
so
give
she
them
just-
2 separate grades
Okay.
of like dress out and participation.
Okay.
It's a little different too with PE because they get pulled out of our classes to go to tutoring or other things like that.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Has she been pulled out of your class for anything like that?
I believe
You mentioned the
so.
counselor. Anything else?
I think we do this thing called MTSS.
Okay.
It's an intervention like tutoring.
Okay.
I believe she was on that list for a little bit in the beginning of the year. So she would go like twice a week. They would take her out of PE.
Okay.
And she would go there.
And what's it called?
MTSS intervention.
MTSS intervention.
Yeah, that's with Miss Godwin.
Okay.
I believe she was on that list.
Okay. Okay. Have you ever seen any signs of abuse for her or anything like that?
No,
Any bruises? Any references to anything that was going on?
no.
I know it's kind of hard looking back now.
Yeah,
It always
I
is.
know, I know, but
Okay.
no. I mean, I guess just maybe the inclination of like her maybe wearing a hoodie all the time. But
Okay.
like
Okay.
it's cold, you know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. Kids.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But
Okay. Nothing obvious. She hasn't mentioned anything to you.
No.
Never saw any bruising. Nothing crazy like that.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else you think I need to know about your relationship?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the only thing I would say is just to me, she was a very anxious child. So
Okay.
for her to like maybe go away on her own just didn't sound right to me.
Okay.
Knowing that she always needed a buddy or she needed somebody with her.
Okay.
But yeah.
Have you ever
Actually,
anybody
I
from
have.
around town?
I've met her
Okay.
for one of the PE teachers maybe a few months ago. We had a short, brief conversation, but
Okay.
nothing. She was very nice, and
Okay.
that's really it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else? No aunts, cousins, nothing?
Nope.
Okay, cool. I ask because
Yeah.
these communities are pretty
Oh,
small.
yeah.
You know, cousins go to other schools,
Yeah.
and it's all pretty close
Yeah.
knit. So, she doesn't have any relatives that go here, does she?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Okay. All right. Did you have any questions or anything for me?
No.
All right, Miss Rentis, can you swear and affirm everything you told me has been true and correct? All right, you can go back.